Good evening, CAN TV viewers. Thank you so much. You are tuning in to the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. My name is Yolanda Givens, and I am your host for this evening. We definitely appreciate you tuning in. We are here every Monday at 7:30 until the end of this month, and it's been a great season. We've had some great guests. We provided some great information. The Doty Report on Comprehensive Health is presented by the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization, a nonprofit organization that have been providing health education and being a health advocate and connecting the community to healthcare resources for over 20 years. And as you know, I always like to give a shout out to the CEO and president, Mr. Don Doty. So, hey, Mr. Doty, I'm back. I have been gone for 2 weeks. We had the holiday, and then we had Miss Beverly here as the host last week. But I am glad to be back. As you know, I like to have a good time, even though we're talking about serious issues, and we're talking about healthcare, and we really want the community we just want to raise awareness and really be a resource for information, but I also like to have a good time. As you notice, we encourage you to call in with questions and comments. We want this to be 30 minutes that's very engaging. So let's get right down to our topic for tonight. We have a very special guest, a very brave and courageous woman here with us today, and we're going to be chatting about the battle. I'm saying the battle of the beasts, aka cancer, breast cancer, and she is here. She's going to I always say the experts, but she's going to say she's not a practitioner. She's not a healthcare provider. She is living with it, and she is here to tell us her story. So let me get right to and introduce our very beautiful guest, Miss Pansy Washington. Ms. Washington Pansy, she was diagnosed in 2014, stage 2 breast cancer. During that process and treatment, the cancer went from stage 2 to stage 3. I believe it was around 2015. It had spread to the spine. And it was in stage 4 at that time, but Miss Pansy is still here, and she definitely has a story, and she wants to be able to help someone that may be going through the situation, may be diagnosed. She actually launched a campaign this year, was it this year, early last year, called the Pansy Pink Pajama Project, and she's looking and working towards that becoming a nonprofit organization. So we'll be talking about that before the show ends tonight. So we're going to get right into some conversation. Again, Miss Pansy is not shy. This is a brave woman sitting over here. So don't be shy about calling in with your comments and with your questions. And we're going to really give her the platform to share her story. But I'm going to just start us off by asking, just so the viewers can hear you, about when you were diagnosed and how did it come about? What made you go to the doctor or go get a mammogram, and then what happened after that?
Okay, well, as you know, my name is Pansy, and I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer at the age of 47. This was back in 2014. I'll never forget the day. It was May 6th, 2014. I discovered my own lump. I was one of those ones who did do the yearly mammogram since the age of 40.
Wow.
And I'd found that nothing had been found. It just happened to be in 2013, I'd made a move, with my children to Chicago. Would move from the suburbs. And I'd forgotten to get my mammogram. So I'd say around February, after taking a shower, I happened to, just kind of graze over my breast with my hand, and I felt a lump. And I thought it was very strange. I thought at first, in being in denial, because I'm like, oh, I don't have it. I thought maybe it was a cyst of some sort.
Okay.
Now, I need to let you know that I think probably in 2012, I had been diagnosed with, I had to come back in for a second mammogram
Okay.
because of the fact that it came back abnormal.
Okay.
So, I have to say that I'm not a clinician. I only do research for my own self, and then I want to share it with other people. This is my story, and what people can take from it, take from it. If you can't, you know what I'm saying, get anything from it, then leave it there. But what I have in my research, I found that mammograms are not necessarily calibrated for the African American woman.
Okay.
Our breasts are dense, which shows up on a mammogram as white. Cancer always also shows up as white.
Okay.
So sometimes we're not diagnosed in a lower stage. We are diagnosed at a higher stage.
Okay.
I know that our mortality rate is much higher than our Caucasian counterparts.
Okay.
And that's for a lot of different reasons. Again, I'm not a clinician. I just do research. I Google because I wanted to know all that I could about what this beast
Right.
was. You know what I'm saying? And
Understandable.
you know, it's been a journey.
Okay.
It's definitely been a journey.
Okay. So what happened after you were diagnosed? What decisions were made? How did you share it with your family? Was there a support system? What was next for you?
Okay, for me, I didn't take it so well. What you're seeing now is the result of people loving me and you know and me just making the decision to live.
Okay.
So when I first found out, when the radiologist called me, I remember sliding down the wall just crying because at the time I had a 14-year-old who was a freshman in high school, and all I could think was, who's going to take care of my baby?
Right.
And my son, he's autistic.
Okay.
And I'm like, who's going to take care of them? You know, I had nothing in place. You know, I did not plan for, you know, a chronic illness.
Right.
Didn't have nothing in place. So what I opted was, okay, well, you know what? If I have it, then what I'm going to do is, they found it only in my left breast.
Okay.
It started in the milk ducts, and what I decided to do was, I'm going to have a matching set, take them both, because my fear was that it would then develop in the right breast.
Okay.
So I opted for a double mastectomy. That happened in August of 2014. I thought, no breasts, no cancer.
Okay.
I was under that fallacy, no breast, no cancer. I did take some rounds of chemo for precautionary measure. Also rounds of radiation, to the point where, you know, my chest looked like as black as this mouse here. And then only to be told that it metastasized to my spine in 2 places.
Wow.
Again, I was devastated. So, let me take you back. I first was diagnosed, the mammogram showed that it was at stage 2 because of the size of the tumor. Once the surgeon removed the breast, he then discovered there were more tumors. So therefore, it put me at stage 3 because they also discovered that it had traveled through my lymph nodes. That's why they opted for the chemo for precautionary measure.
Okay.
And it had metastasized to my spine, which now it put me in stage 4, which is the terminal stage. This is what they say you're going to die from.
Right.
You know, but whatever. That's what they say.
Right.
I again was devastated. I had radiation on my spine, which once you have it there, you can't have it again. And from there, what we did was I just began to live my life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really feel any pain at that point. I then started to I don't mean to jump all over the place, but I made a decision that I wanted my breast reconstructed.
Okay.
You know, that because that was one thing that I hadn't had done was the breast reconstruction surgery. So in 2017, last year of July, I had the breast reconstruction. It was a tram flap, they call it, which I got a tummy tuck out of. Hey, well, that was really good. And you know, see, that was really good. Excuse me if you guys see me sweating. I'm going through my own personal summer here. You know what I'm saying? I am going through menopause as well. I got that, but then what I began to notice after the surgery was it became difficult for me to walk.
Okay.
And it hurt really bad. So I was first at the UIC, here on the west side, and then I made a decision that I wanted to go to Northwestern. I'd heard great things about them. Found a very good doctor, Dr. Stein, and she told me, "Hey, look, the cancer is active again, so now we're going to need to do something." And we thought we could do radiation again, but as we found out, you can't do it twice because now we're talking about possibly severing my spinal cord.
Okay.
And the prognosis was, I held off on the surgery as long as I could because the prognosis was that the cancer was compromising 2 vertebrae, and eventually I wouldn't be able to walk. Well, this past January, I did the surgery. Dr. Molinski at Northwestern performed a 20-hour spinal fusion surgery.
Wow.
And I beat the odds.
Wow.
Within 48 hours, in ICU, I walked a mile. I walked the ICU floor until I walked a mile because I was that determined. I made a decision to live. I want to be an inspiration. I want my life to mean something. I want, if I can get up and go do things, I want others to feel like they can do the same thing too.
Absolutely.
And I don't feel like I do much. I might go down to my school, DePaul, which, hey, I'm working towards getting my degree, which is my own personal goal. As you stated, I'm doing that Pansy's Pink Pajama Project, which was inspired because I was told that I had a 30-day stay in the hospital, and I wanted to wear a different pair of pajamas each day. So I asked my Facebook friends and family if they would, donate pink pajamas, and the response was overwhelming. I mean, they showed up and showed out. And I promised that the extra pairs of pajamas, that I would share them with other people that were going through, because, we can talk about how it happened, but once you have it, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? What bottom line is, what are we going to do now? And I made a decision that I'm going to live, and I'm going to live my life to the fullest.
Okay, so let me go, I'm going to go back a little bit. So, because I imagine that when you were first diagnosed, we have a caller. Hey, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You have a question or a comment?
Yes, I've been reading stories about this new therapy now that they're encouraging women now to avoid chemotherapy, and there's a new therapy instead of chemo. Can you explain that?
Okay. Do you have any knowledge?
You know what? I watching TV this morning, getting dressed. I did see something about doctors are steering people away. I don't know the particulars of that.
Okay.
I know that chemo is very damaging to the body. At least my experiences were. Everything they say, of course, the loss of hair.
Right.
Which mine still hasn't completely grown back. Being violently ill, all of that, the tired, just the loss of, the loss of your ability to even interact with people. That was my experience with chemo.
Okay. All right, caller, thank you for your question. Did you have another question? Oh, he's gone. Okay, so I was going to go back a little bit to ask the question when you were first diagnosed. So does anyone else in your family have breast cancer? Is it?
Good question.
Did you wonder where did this come from?
Yes, definitely.
Talk about that a little bit.
Definitely. I had my first cousin, Stacy, who lived in Houston, Texas. She was first diagnosed. She was 2 years younger than I. She eventually succumbed to the disease, and they were saying that a lot of people believe that the disease is genetic. Because not only had my first cousin had it, but I think my grandfather had leukemia.
Okay.
Different family members on my mother's side had bouts with cancer. So my belief at first was that, yes, it's got to be genetic, because there's a thing that they have you take, which is called a BRCA test.
Okay.
This is what that actress Angelina Jolie took, which showed that she had the markers, that she was likely, it was
More
very likely,
Okay.
right, to develop it, because her
Oh.
mother had breast cancer.
Okay.
And so therefore that's why she opted, before she wasn't even diagnosed, but she had her breast removed. So yes,
Right.
because of
Right.
this test.
Right.
Well, again, in research, I found out that this BRCA test is really not generated towards African American women.
Okay.
Because our makeup is different than theirs. What I'm realizing is that it's a lot in what we eat. So therefore, if my first cousin, whom our mothers were sisters, if she was taught to cook a certain way, my mother was taught to cook the same way, and our eating habits were
Similar,
the same.
right.
So what in research, and I have a good friend in Las Vegas who calls me on a daily basis. Hi, Sheila. She comes and tells me different things. What I'm moving towards now is a plant-based diet.
Okay.
Removing different things, because if you look at it, we're eating these chicken wings that look like turkey wings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's these steroids. There's a program called What the Health that I saw on Netflix, and it really changed my view on how I'm eating and what I intake into my body, because that has to be, that has to be a factor. I have to tell you this. I was a smoker. In the industry that I was in, I was around diesel fuel. I used to work for the Chicago Transit Authority. These are different things that I had gone to the Cancer Treatment Center for a second opinion back in 2014, but I opted not to go there because it was kind of far away from home, and away from my support system. And and I forgot to answer. Yes, as I've always had a pretty decent support system.
Okay.
As the years have gone on, my support system has increased, and I'm just so grateful for everyone who's given encouraging words, who's prayed for me, are different lights, or who's helped me. This program and being able to share with you, is being helpful. If I can help someone else, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Absolutely.
I want to help someone else. This is what I thrive for. This is what I thrive on, rather. But one of the things, too, getting back to what this doctor at the Cancer Treatment Center told me, and I have to share. Sometimes you have to share in order to disclose and you have to disclose some personal stuff if it can help someone else.
Right.
But she told me that abortions played a part in the type of cancer that I developed, which began in my milk ducts.
Okay.
And being honest, I'd had some procedures done back when I was in college in the 80s. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm a half of 100, a little change there. But I'd had some procedures, and that abortions played a part.
Wow.
Could very well have played a part.
Okay.
There's so much stuff that you could, if I woulda, coulda, shoulda,
Right.
that you really can't go back
Right.
and
Absolutely.
redo. But getting back to the abortion thing, she was saying that there's this milk that's in the milk ducts.
Okay.
Okay. Where does it go? Because it didn't, I didn't excrete it from my body.
Right.
It just sat there dormant.
Right.
And she said that, she said a lot of us believe that can play a part in breast cancer. So you know what I'm saying? I had all these different factors. Smoker, my eating habits, abortions, all of that. The bottom line is, I was diagnosed with it. What am I going to do now?
Right.
It's about the business of living and helping someone else.
Right, absolutely. This is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We have Miss Pansy Washington here sharing her story about breast cancer. And we have another caller. Caller, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, caller.
Well, hey, my Georgia Doty, this is Paula. How you doing this evening?
I am great. How are you?
And good evening, Pansy. You're looking beautiful over there.
Don't she look beautiful? Yes, she does.
Thank you.
Oh, all the stories you're telling about yourself. I am so proud of you, lady.
Oh, thank
You know, the Lord was right next with you with all that pain. You said you went through 20 hours of surgery. Ooh, Lord, God bless you being on that TV. And now, I got a question. What's the name of the place that you went to, the best one that took care of you?
Thus far, I'm with Northwestern. I'm with
that's
Northwestern. Dr. Regina Stein is my oncologist.
There you go. And
Yes,
how
ma'am.
are you feeling now these days? You walking around and stuff?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm looking to return to work soon as at my former occupation as a bus operator, but on a part-time basis. I need to be honest with you too, caller, and as well as everyone else. I did go for a biopsy today, a couple of weeks ago. The test did show that there's a suspicious lesion on my liver. And our course of, should we find that it is cancer, the course that we plan on taking is radiation. But my doctor's very optimistic. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to, if we should find that it is cancer, we'll work around my schedule, my work schedule.
I got a feeling this time, Pansy, you're going to get a break.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes,
Me too.
yes.
It's going to be okay. I got a feeling this time.
I got a good feeling.
And I am going to say a prayer for you. You know,
Thank you.
Sounds like the last caller that just mentioned the new therapy that they got for the chemo. Instead of going through the chemo, you guys are getting the drips. So it sounds like some of the funds and it's going to the research the way it's supposed to be.
That's good.
Yes, yes.
Finally. And one last question, if you don't mind. Here we go, Mr. Georgia Doty. What did you do for all your pain, Pansy? Did you go on the medical marijuana, or did you just stay on pills? What'd you do, Mrs. Pansy?
I did do the marijuana maintenance. I didn't want to admit that.
Hey, that's a hot topic on this show.
Yes, I did do the marijuana maintenance, which I did find very helpful. It's better than taking. It's better than taking the hydrocodone. The hydrocort, you know what I'm trying to say, that the Norco, that's what it's called, the Norco.
Okay.
Because right now I'm prescribed Norco, morphine, Valium.
Nope.
I mean, I take and gabapentin because there's side effects from the chemo. You know, I have neuropathy in my feet. So if I take this cocktail, what I call a cocktail at night, you know what I'm saying? I'm out for the count. And it makes it so that you can't use the bathroom. And that's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. You got to take a pill, to make this pill work. It's too much.
Mrs. Pansy, my husband's going through a similar thing with you. He's had back surgeries, and he was 204, 5, and 6. They operated on his spine like you. And he still walks with a cane, and for all those years he was on opiates. And he turned around, he was a perfect candidate for the medical marijuana. He eats, he sleeps, he walks. He doesn't take Norcors anymore, even though the doctor wants to give them to him. You can't. After a while, those pills don't work anymore.
Right.
You want to be able to sleep, you want to be able to eat, you want to be able to function, you want to be able to take a shower, and God bless you people. Let me get off the line.
Thank you, Paula. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for calling.
Wait, Miss Pansy? Miss Pansy?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to pray for your liver. That's your report. Come back. Absolutely negative with nothing in there.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Bye, Miss Georgia Doty.
Bye. Talk to you next time. So we have 5 minutes left. We got to wrap up really quick. Were there any resources available to you that you tapped into that somebody out there who may need them? What were the resources?
Resources, first of all, the UIC, I found they have an excellent, use the social workers, the oncology, use your oncology social workers. The American Cancer Society, they were very instrumental. I take PACE, because of my treatments that I've had in the past. I took PACE. So if you let them know they will give you passes.
Good to
You
know.
know, to go for treatments. You just need to call in. Also, there's different places you can look. One is called the Pink Fund.
Okay.
And tap into them. Sometimes they have what they call with nonprofit organizations, those fiscal years, and a lot of places, because breast cancer is on the rise. A lot of those places, unfortunately, run out of
Run out,
funds.
okay.
So you have to definitely meet those deadlines. Look into it. But there are resources. Google it.
Okay.
Definitely Google it.
Okay, we also have there's an organization called Sisters Working It Out, where
yeah.
actually Georgia Doty is actually going to be honoring the CEO Beulah Brent on July 28th. There's Chicago Breast Cancer Organizations and Sisters Network Chicago chapter. So there are resources. I just think that it's important that people get to hear from you that you got to reach out to those resources.
Yes, you do.
And places like American Cancer Society
yes,
really
yes.
is a valuable, sometimes I think these big institutions aren't really being a resource, so it's good to hear.
Yes, yes.
It's definitely good to hear. So, real quick, the Pansy Pink Pajama Project
Yes.
is in the works of becoming a
Yes.
nonprofit organization.
We just acquired our EIN.
Yes.
So I'm working on the logo.
Okay.
For that. Just doing different things as I've had time, because right now what I do to also, I should have mentioned this, in order to assist me, I do physical therapy as well as aqua fitness at the Croc Center. Oh yes, got to
Okay.
shout out to my Croc Center
Okay,
people.
absolutely.
But we are working on that, and we're hoping to have that launched sometime by this summer.
Well, we are looking forward to
Yes.
that. This is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We have an awards. We'll be recognizing some health pioneers and some entrepreneurs who are been doing great work in the community on July 28, 2018. For more information, you can email the Doty Report gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with Miss Washington, this very brave and courageous woman, you can send us an email at the Doty Report at gmail.com. Do you have an email address that you want to share?
Sure, you can contact me at Pansy, that's spelled P as in Paul, ANSY, Pansy like the flower, pansychicago@gmail.com.
That's pansychicago@gmail.com. I'm going to show you, we are going to be honoring the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization. Going to be honoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phenomenal individuals. Miss Beulah Brent, Father Clemens, Mr. James Dentley, Eli Williamson, Camille Grant, Reverend Tommy Johnson, and Jackie Sharp, all of which are very active in the Chicago community, and that's definitely making a difference, and they have been health pioneers or have just been a resources for the community. July 28th, again, you can email us at the Doty Report at gmail.com, or you can go to our website, which is Georgia Doty Inc. GeorgiaDotyInc.org. Miss Pansy, we thank you so
Thank you
much
for
for
having
being
me.
here.
Thank you
We
for having
definitely hope that you heard something that was relevant to your situation. We really appreciate you tuning in to the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We will be back here same time, Monday, 7:30 p.m. Please tune in. And just be ready to be engaging. We thank you so much. We're going to be looking forward to that nonprofit organization, and we definitely wish you well. You are very brave and very courageous, and this has been a great show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank you,
appreciate
viewers.
it.
We really appreciate it. See you next time.